All right. Peace and blessings, brothers and sisters. It is yours truly, Amar Mari, and I am the host for King's Treasure Chest. And the co-host in the building is our king, Deshaun Gibson in the building. He is our teenage powerhouse. I cannot stress this enough, how important it is for us to instill our traditions in our young people so that they can continue on the traditions. They're the ones who are going to take our place, and we need to leave a footprint within the community that our young people can follow in our steps thereafter. I believe in Kuumba. I believe in them being creative. I believe in them making what we did that's great, greater. And so I want to afford this young king the opportunity at this time to introduce himself and to tell us what it is that he's doing in regards to his career, his speaking engagements, anything that he has coming up, so that we can be of some support to him. Go ahead, King Deshaun. Tell him about you.
How you guys doing? I'm Deshaun Gibson, and I want to first by saying thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to be on here. And I also want to give thanks to my ancestors. I definitely want to give thanks to my ancestors because we need to thank them a lot for where we are in today's world. Because if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be able to do nothing. But so again, my name is Deshaun. My name is Deshaun Gibson, and I am a motivational speaker. But before I'm a motivational speaker, I am an activist. I speak on social awareness. I speak on social issues that's going on within our community. I also do motivational speaking. I just love to speak. I love to motivate my community. I love to motivate people to know what their passion in life is, to know what their drive in life is, and to see that drive in their face, and to see that drive that I'm motivating them for them to drive. It's amazing to me. But that's me. I love my community. I love to speak.
All right. We also have King Jashir in the building. Good brother, if you would take out the time once you clear your throat. You know what I'm saying? And, introduce yourself. Tell the people who you are and what businesses and organizations you have so that we can support you, my brother.
Was that for me?
Yes, that was for you, my king.
Let me clear my throat. Well,
I hope you don't mind.
Again, yeah, my name is Jasir. My artist name is Blasphemy. I have a project I'm putting out specifically and strategically on Good Friday, which is April 19th, called The Pulpit. That's dealing with the cognitive dissonance of religions that have enslaved the brains, minds, bodies, and souls and spirits of our own people for over way too long. I made a full-fledged project. You can check it out at indigenousrhythms.com. Here's some stuff. Other than that, I have an organization I started about 10 years ago called CA Ticketmasters, where I help people to combat these laws, particularly dealing with traffic violations and suspended licenses, and teaching them how to properly contest their tickets to keep these fines and charges off their record. It's been doing pretty well. That's why I kept doing it for the last 10 years. That website is caticketmasters.com. I help people all over the country, from California to New York to Atlanta to Texas to Detroit. I've helped people all over the country with that situation. So that's who I be and what I do. And on top of that, I am a Ifa. I'm an Awo in Ifa. Training to be a priest of Ifa. So I have my plate full, and a father and a husband and all that good stuff at the same time.
Wonderful, man. And tell, if you would, break down the Awo, if you would, what is that?
You said, what is an AWO?
Yes.
Oh, AWO basically is student of Ifa. Everybody doesn't become an AWO. Everybody doesn't become a priest. People who get initiated, they can just be an initiate. But for me, I'm an AWO, so I'm basically studying. Another word I would like to use is an Akapo, which is basically a person that's studying Ifa in order to become a priest.
I say, oh. All right, so before we begin, we give thanks to our ancestors known and unknown before us. We give thanks for our ancestors who laid down their lives for us. We give thanks for those who were uncomfortable for us to be comfortable. We honor them. We give thanks to our creator, Olodumare. We give thanks to Orisha. And we say, Ashe, Ashe, and Ashe. My brother, would you want to do a little blessing if you would? Not trying to put you on the spot. Would you want to do a little blessing before we start?
Me?
Yes.
I can never tell who you're talking to.
It's optional if you want to. You know, say it's up to you.
It's all jizzle. Well, Ifa, Olodumare, Irumale, Orisha's ancestors, Egungun, and everybody, we pray that we have a great meeting this evening. We pray that the spirit comes in, guides the conversation, directs the conversation, to make this conversation manifest into some blessings for not just us, whoever listens to this broadcast now or in the future. May you guide our minds, move egos out of the way, and let truth and productivity lead the way. Ashizzle.
All right, now we're going to pass the mic to the young King Deshaun Gibson in the building. Him and I, we had conversed about how we're going to start out this forum for everybody who knows, so you won't think that it's disorderly. This is something new that we started. So what we do is to explain it to you, we just come together. One individual starts out the subject matter that we're going to table at that time. If that person, one of the panelists, so choose to move on to another topic, it's not out of order. I want you all to understand that, because it's an open forum. We're here, you know, to talk about relationships, and we're also here to talk about the remedies for our social ills within the community. Okay, so this is a freestyling platform. We wanted to do something different this year, innovative, and who better to start out something new with than the next generation, to allow them to spearhead it. So this is the reason why we have the King on here as the co-host, so that he can improve his leadership skills and also display, you know, that they're able to handle these tasks which some of us think they're incompetent of doing. We want to show you that they're very, very capable of doing so, that they're gifted. And if we don't allow their gifts to flourish, then unfortunately they'll die. And we don't want that to happen. So we want to ensure that this young King Gifts is definitely given to the world, because he's a gift to us. He's a present to us from the gods. I really truly believe that within my spirit. He's here to be a blessing to us. So go ahead, King Deshaun, kick it off for us.
Awesome. So I really want to start off by talking about just within schools and people that's about to graduate high school and don't really know that last push in life. You know, that last push. The quarter's about to end. Fourth quarter's coming up. From here, fourth quarter's coming up, and a lot of people is beginning to like slack off. And I want to give you more. I just want to start off by saying you can do it. You can do it. Keep pushing. Like, I really don't know how much to like stress it. Like, keep pushing to like your goal. Keep pushing to like the small goals that you have in life, because that could be a small goal. Graduating high school, that could be a small goal, but just keep pushing. It's almost over. and then you got more stuff ahead of you from there. So just keep pushing. It's almost over. Words of encouragement will help. Just motivating yourself, because I can only motivate you so much, but you motivating yourself, it's on a higher level. It's on a higher pedestal, because literally that's where self-love come in. You know what I'm saying? So just keep pushing, you guys. And for just the people that's becoming seniors, make sure your senior year counts. Like, you can have as much fun as you want, but make sure it counts. Make sure you having your ACT scores right. Make sure you having your GPA right. All the stuff that you need in order to be successful for graduation. Literally, like, playtime is over, you guys. Playtime's over. Like, we're about to go into the adult world now. We're young adults. It's time to push.
Brother Shir, would you like to comment on what the young king is talking about?
It's been so long for me since high school. I don't know what to say to that one. All I can say is prepare yourself for a world outside of high school that is going to be polar opposite from what you probably just experienced the last 4 years of your life. And hopefully prepare your mind to know who you are outside of what you just learned in those classes, particularly history.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with the math. I'm okay with the English or the Spanish and some of the electives that y'all take in those classes, but that history class is dangerous. So prepare your mind, not just for college, just for life in general, because there's going to be more of that in college, to tell you the truth. At least in college, you'll have more chances to take other things and other subjects outside of what the curriculum is. You can choose what your curriculum may be in college, but please prepare your mind to be ready to enter the world, and kind of have to maybe even rewire your mind a little bit, because high school has a way of wiring your mind to things that's just not relevant. And when you get out there in the real world, you'll see exactly what we're talking about. But sound like the brother right here definitely has his head on, moving in the right direction. We need more people like that, more youngsters like that that's moving in that direction, that can motivate others behind them or in the same class as them, same age bracket as them, to do the same thing. But that's the most I can give right now for that. Again, it's been almost 30 years for me out of high school.
No, it's okay, man. You know, I just wanted to hear your view on the curriculum, because we do talk about that. You know, it is definitely beneficial in the arena of mathematics, but we all know that we need to have the knowledge of self, and I believe that starts at home. This is just my personal view about it. You know, I believe that it's up to the parents to teach their child and their children about their history, because when they do go to these public schools, and I'm very realistic about things, I fully understand that everyone can't afford for them to stay home. So until that time, all right, it's important for us to indoctrinate, or I'm gonna say educate our own children, for the purpose of them not being deceived to start praising racist heroes, you know, that has been documented in the school books, such as George Washington and etc. I mean, since the inception of this country, nobody can prove to me where those presidents have done anything for our people at all, at all. You know, so with that being said, I argue that, you know, these individuals, all the presidents, that have sat in the seat, in my humble opinion, I really believe that they have not done nothing for the advancement of our people. Their apologies are weak to me because they have not given our people reparations. Okay, so again, I will use this analogy where if somebody got into an accident and they apologize for damaging your vehicle, it still doesn't negate the fact that the damage has already been done. It doesn't stop the person's vehicle from being torn up, right? The vehicle is still torn up, so the apology means absolutely solitarily nothing. You show them how sorry you are by paying for their vehicle and fixing the vehicle. However, does it stop the damage being done? No, it doesn't. Because we're still bearing the scars today. From what I see of what slavery has done.
Request permission to speak.
Oh yeah, definitely speak.
So I just going based off of what you said, and it definitely is, and it's like this. You need to know who you are as a person. No, it's not even. It starts at home. Yes, it does. But you just need to know who you are as a person. Know the history. Know the rich history behind your skin color. You know what I'm saying? Like taking the time out to learn who you are is the greatest thing you could do because it helps you get through life, and it just smooths that way into it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like having that under your belt. It's the best thing you could do. So take the time to learn your heritage. Take the time to know where you come from out of your descent, the descent you come from. You know what I'm saying? Because that stuff can help within life. Because we are faced with so many challenges that could be overcame if we knew our history, if we knew who we really were, if we knew that we are great people. If we knew that behind our skin color comes with a lot of great leaders, a lot of people that fought hard, a lot of people that went through the same thing that we are going through, but even worse, we would know that we are powerful. We would know, like I said, we're powerful beyond measures. So, and that's what I feel that they want to keep from us, So.
Yeah, you definitely are right about that one, and well said. I'm very proud of you. And for those of you out there, let's celebrate this young king because he's talking about a lot of things that most adults won't even dare to talk about. And this is the reason why this is my evidence that just because these young people are younger than us, it doesn't mean that they're not knowledgeable. Because let the truth be told, a lot of our elders, unfortunately, are not knowledgeable enough to even raise these young people up. I'm talking about in the knowledge of self. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. You could teach grandma. Grandma could teach you her remedies from the earth. And so I'm not talking about that. They can't teach us nothing at all. I'm saying most of them, because of them being colonized themselves, cannot teach us because they don't even have that knowledge or wisdom or understanding. And this is the reason why it's so important for us to have this collaboration, because I believe that we can learn even from a baby. You can learn from nature, right? If you observe the way wildlife interacts with one another, for instance, they say that animals are the lower life form, but why is it that an animal will take care of their child before some men do? I'm just saying. But yet they're considered to be the lower life form, but they protect their family. You know what I'm saying? They hunt, they provide for their family, right? And if any predator is trying to attack, the lion's cub or the tiger's cub, see how they handle business. Now you have some human beings that won't even do that. So we can learn from nature. We can definitely learn from nature. So I believe that we need to stay open, and listen to each other, and learn from each other. And it's best for us to be humble, because you have millennials these days who are millionaires. Now, riddle me this then. I'm an adult. I'm 40 some years old. I seen a young man that make bow ties for the NBA. He younger than I am. He a millionaire. So it's something to this. It's something to this. All right. You got another young man out there named King J. He's a motivational speaker. This young man speak all over the world. I don't get those type of speaking engagements internationally. This young man speak internationally. So we have to rise above our ego as adults and get a better understanding of the spiritual realm. And that's what I love about having Brother Jasir on here, because he's a spiritual brother. He can go more in depth than I, because he knows Ifa better than I. So that's why it's better to be humble, because this brother teaches me things about Ifa that I didn't even know. So we need to stay open and humble and be teachable so that we can evolve and grow. And I believe that's the best way that we be able to grow together as a family, and also the initiation of manhood, like we're doing with King Deshaun here, is allowing the king to do what a man does, allowing him to dwell with the men, allowing him to learn how men do business. He was on a program the other day, and my queen and I was teaching a marriage class. Now he's able to soak that in like a sponge. And now he's able to listen to that and say, okay, this is how I treat a woman. This is how I'm supposed to conduct myself. See, the best leadership is an example. And I believe that's what's really lacking. A lot of us, we don't have that example. Brother Jasir, I would love for you to jump in, man, and for you to add, your wisdom to this dialogue, man. Take it whatever way you want to go, because it's an open forum.
Well, this is a very interesting topic that you just brought up, because my wife and I have been looking at other places to move to, trying to get out of LA. And we started researching on Atlanta. This is kind of going to go splinter, but it's tying into what you're saying. And we started researching Atlanta, man, and I found that it's so many young ladies, I'm talking high school, 20s, 30s, that are coming up with AIDS and HIV because of this new phenomenon that has swept through Atlanta called Down Low Brothers and all these things. That's basically, and how I'm tying it in, is just basically how to treat women. And this is not, I mean, common sense would tell us this, but this is not the way to do it as far as treating women the right way. How are we giving our women diseases that's killing off the incubators of our children? It's just amazing how this is even happening and no one's speaking about it. I think it was somewhere like around 30,000 women in Atlanta with HIV. That's huge. And it's only a population, I believe, that's a little bit south of 500,000. Huh? In the whole city? Yes. Oh, okay. Wrong numbers. We read something different. But the moral to the story is, how is this not talked about and spoken about amongst, and I want to know what it is amongst the youngsters, because it's really something prevalent for their generation. My generation didn't have this issue. We didn't have to deal with that situation. We didn't have schools that's trying to regulate us on being taught homosexuality. We didn't have those things. We also didn't have classes on how to treat women in the first place. We learned from however we learned, usually by bumping our head. But in this day and time, like this arena that you're supplying here with this King Treasure Chest, like these are arenas with like a young man that's on the line with us now, that these things need to be talked about. So when he goes back to his peers, like he can spread some of these ideas and start talking about that, because these things need to change from the youth on up. Because the people that are in their 20s and 30s that are doing it, like that's going to be a loss. I don't want to say it like that, but it seems like it's going to be a lost cause. That these people, the youngsters coming up, need to change the mindset of how they are receiving and actually partaking in relations with other women in general. I just really want to know what the youngsters' perspective is on that, and how does it affect him as he sees it as a young man, high school and coming up in that age bracket.
Well, request the permission to speak. It at this age, people don't look at. So at the age I'm in, especially in high school, when people think of like a girlfriend, for example, when God thinks of a girlfriend, especially in my generation, 9 times out of 10, they're not thinking of, like wife material, like thinking beyond high school, beyond, I'm talking about future wise. It's not that mindset. The mindset is just like, I want to have sex with them or whatever. And it's just that. So that mindset is like kind of like is making us look bad, because now what it is we're literally treating our women like crap. We're not showing them with respect. We're not showing them no passion, you know what I'm saying? And our women is our foundation. Our women is who we are. That's who we come from, So women should have the utmost respect, and they should be treated the utmost, right? But in my generation of time, we're just so lost, man. We're so lost to the point where, like people's mindset is not on that. So that's where I think the mentoring comes in, like having that like mentoring figure, like that male figure showing you, hey, this is the way you do it. Like you said that you go bump your head, but you can still teach them, like teach it now better than later. So like when they hit 30, they're not doing the same thing, and it's not becoming a constant thing that they're doing. So, or that we are doing. So it's like mentoring is key. Like just finding someone that you could connect with that's older. I can say that's older, because older people has more experience. So definitely mentoring and just finding, that we lost.
Yeah, that's a deep subject, man. I don't know what the solution would be though, as far as getting that to masses of youth. And let me ask you this: do you think that if someone put like a mentor group like that people in your age bracket would actually gravitate to it, or you think some of them would? Or
most definitely. And see, I feel like programs that gravitating us to like, success, this doing right for us, people my age are scared of doing. They're scared of doing something that's different for once in a change and once in a time. Because now people my age, now all we do is follow. We don't lead. You know what I'm saying? We don't lead at all. So when someone's following, they go follow the train. They're not doing what's right. So when they see like a young lady like myself that's gravitating towards, great young, great men like you guys, like surrounding myself with great young men like you guys, I feel like my peers gravitate to that. They see like, oh dang, like like it is possible. Like we don't gotta act. You feel me? Like different from everybody. I mean, different. We can act different from everybody because we are different. You know what I'm saying? So definitely, I just feel it's all about peer pressure, and if someone else is doing it, like if people see a mentor program that not only is beneficial for them, I feel deep inside they know this is great for me. I know that I'm gonna get the resources and the stuff that I need, but physically they're like, nah, I can't do this. we can't do this because we still sleep in the mind. You know what I'm saying? We still sleep about certain stuff. So. Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Could you repeat what you said, bro?
I was saying, I was asking because when I'm a person that I believe, like, if someone came on the scene 20, 30, 40, 100 years from now, and they got a hold of whatever eras of music, you would be able to tell what's happening in that society through the music that was popular of that society, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm asking those questions because when I hear the music today, like when I was your age, it was reversed. It was you had like substance in the music too. But don't get me wrong, we had negative stuff here and there too. You know, the DJ Quicks and the people who talks all the crazy stuff, but they were a small few. The majority of it was more on some, especially on the East Coast music wave, it was more on some conscious level of speaking.
Okay.
Or you had to have something to say if you got on the microphone. Now it's reversed. Like the people who have something to say are in the back seat, and the people who ain't got nothing to talk about are in the front seat. So when I look at it from that aspect, I'm like, it can't be all these kids making Cardi B get 150 million views off of one silly. I can't say that every kid is doing that, but somehow she got to 150 million. That's a lot of views. But I'm wondering, like, when I see that, it seems like it's a very monumental task to turn that mindset around to get back to what I knew and what I know. And even back then, brother, I'm not even fronting with anybody here. Like, I'm not saying that because we had the music that we had, that everybody knew how to treat women. That wasn't the case either. That's a long fought battle to get men to understand how to treat women in general, number one, because it's been a masculine world for so long, and it's changing now and segueing into more of a feminine energy world, and it hasn't had a chance to fix it. It's kind of like he was talking about earlier, brother was talking about earlier, being a slave and being let free off a plantation with no roadmap, with no know-how to do anything. This world is changing, and nobody sat down and talked to women and apologized to women for this whole 400 years of masculinity that we've been experiencing in this country, of them being in the backseat, being second class, getting paid less than men, even though they do more work than men. Like all these things, misogyny, everything, Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre, bees and hoes, just calling them all out their name. Like, you guys are a product, your generation is a product of what we set the standard for, that we allowed to take off. Mm-hmm. Like, we allowed the Snoop Dogg and them to become famous. We allowed the Too Shorts to become a phrase that everybody says now. We allowed that. And you guys have taken it, kind of twisted it around. So when I hear like what's that brother's name? Lil Yachty or something. I'm like,
most definitely. Most definitely.
First of all, if he was rapping in 91, bro, he would have got booed, beat up, pushed off the stage. He would have never, ever seen the day of light. Trust me. Because back then it was way more aggressive. Now it's like anything goes. Anybody can say whatever. There's no rules. Nobody respects anything. And you can tell by the society. Go ahead.
And I definitely think it, like you said, it's the time difference. And I'm in a generation now where, like I said, I feel it's not that we don't know any better. It's that we know better. It's just what people. So what my generation does is, and I'm a suspect of doing this too. What we do is, when we see something that is on a bigger platform that you feel that is like, it's a movement, people gravitate to that. People literally say, people, they want to, you basically idolize that and be what that is. So when they see rappers talking about F this, women, talking them down about our women, it's literally they're modeling it. So, and we're modeling it. So that's why I feel that us having rappers like Kendrick Lamar, Nas, just different rappers within that conscious level of thinking and that conscious level of their music, they could change that and we could change it because we personally do have some rappers. I'm not gonna say I can say locally, or you know what I'm saying, we can say we have some rappers that they tries to change that thing, that whole thing around, because literally our music nowadays it doesn't have a message. And like you said, music it always, back in the day, music always had a message, and now it doesn't. I think the message is for now is still treat our women just horrible, and be someone that you're not. That's what I feel like the message is. But I feel like it's up to the speakers. It's just not even rappers. The speakers, the poet, you know what I'm saying? Poetry, all that. I'm saying it's up to us as young leaders to change that thing, because we know that rapping is a big influence on my generation. We know that music is a big influence. So that's why I feel that God has put me on this earth for. God has put me on this earth for, to let people know, let's do this. Like you could literally change this, the way we think about this stuff, by your music. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I was like, I do things like that. I like to motivate because I feel that it changes people's perspective on how they do things, and it ultimately teaches me a lesson to keep motivating and keep striving for greatness for my community.
Well said, King. So we're going to entertain the questions and or comments from the audience. So King Deshaun, I want you to stay open, if you would, at the time as the co-host of the King's Treasure Chest, and entertain some of these questions out here. Also, brother Jashir, you're definitely welcome to comment as well. So we have some disagreement about some of the hip hop artists. King Quiz said Nas called women bitches and whores also. All right, brother Reginald Orr, he said it's all a strategic process to keep us bound. He also said to you, King Deshaun, he said he's proud of you, King. All right, brother Reginald. Yeah, most definitely. Let me see. Brother Reginald also said it's not enough men standing up being leaders. An army of sheep led by a lion will defeat an army of lions led by a sheep. Indeed. I definitely agree with that. Let me go ahead on and read some more comments. Brother Quee said, we are all responsible for self. I believe he said he disagreed with the statement about Snoop. And thereafter, he commented, we are all responsible for self. If you allow yourself to be degraded, you will be.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, Sister Tara, she said, she calling the brothers out. She said, now rappers in the East Coast are busy wearing fingernail polish like us women, and their hair like ours. So with that being said, good brothers, and one more, because we have to honor our elders, Queen Mother Rhonda Harrison. Thank you so much, Mother, for tuning in. We appreciate your continued love and support. Also, to our good sister out there, Queen Tara, thank you so much for your love and support. And from my queen, Amani Mari, now we greatly appreciate you, sis. You always out there, handling business. We greatly appreciate it. So this is from Queen Mother Rhonda, And after I read her statement, my dear brothers, I would like for you brothers to go ahead on and dive in on these statements, if you would be so kind to do so. We have to stop the criticism of us wherever we may be, and critical assess our situation in the musical arena. East Coast, West Coast will not further the U.S. in the direction we need to be. Yes, change is required, young man. So again, King Deshaun, you have another elder out there that is agreeing with you, good brother. So with that being said, I would like for you, King Deshaun, to kick that off, and then we'll go to the next elder on the panel thereafter, King Jashir. Also, King Jashir, keep in mind too, if you want to shift this, you can. If you want to touch on something else outside of the statements, but if you would be so kind to first tackle the statement, then shift on to something else, that'd be great. Thank you.
Based on just a comment, that there's certain stuff within our music that they still downgrade women. And then you would look at you would listen to like most of the music, like for example, Nas preaches consciousness. He preaches like the Marcus Garvey theory. That our people should go back to Africa. That our people, that our people should look at the lost history that we have. You know what I'm saying? And literally follow that and get to that history. And that's what I feel that I can connect with on that message. That's what I feel like that we need more in our music. And Nas is what he's older, but we need that more in our younger people that my generation is looking up to. People that's looking up to little Yachty, people that's looking up to Little Pump, people like them. See, they're preaching something totally different. These people are preaching wrongness. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like the music industry is not. I'm not going to say the whole music industry. My generation of music industry, they're not. I feel like it's more about the dollar than it is about the part. Than it is about really their music. And I feel like they just throw out anything, but little do they know it has a big toll on our community. It has a huge toll, because now it's telling us to go shoot someone, to hate ourselves. You know what I'm saying? And that's what this music is bringing to us. And like he said, it was a huge change, a huge shift. You went from, you had a message, and then you went from, what is this? Like, what are you talking about? But like I said, change will happen. Change will happen, and it's going to be up to it's going to be up to the young leaders that we have of today, because our elders can't do it all. It starts off with us. It starts off with us as young people, because if we say that music is a huge impact on us, we need to change the way we listen to our music, because we listen to nonsense. We listen to the stuff that's telling us to hate ourselves. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I look at it.
Wonderful. King Jashir, if you would, man.
Can I go in heavy, brother?
Go in heavy, man. You already know. Drop them jewels, brother. Yeah. Drop them jewels, man.
Man, you know this hip hop thing is my love, man.
No doubt.
So here's the deal. I'm gonna address a couple of the things that the comments said. First of all, Nas, I don't know how Nas ever got put together with like being a conscious artist. Like, Nas has always been a hybrid artist from his inception. He's been probably one of the more intelligent artists that has ever come out, but he's not the most conscious dude. to look up to as far as a conscious artist. Mm-hmm. When I say conscious art, and also I want to speak on the West Coast thing too. I'm from the West Coast, so trust me, I know exactly from its inception of hip hop here, how it has what it has morphed into, and how the gangster rap thing just took over and destroyed the minds of so many people. I grew up in it, but here's where I want to go in. And this is not an East Coast, West Coast situation. I don't care nothing about that. I care about what the truth is. And the truth is that hip hop today is very similar to hip hop when it first began. Mm-hmm. When it first began, it was about the street. It wasn't about record labels. It wasn't about all of that. The streets made it happen. Like if a tape came out this weekend, by next weekend, everybody was trying to get a dub of that tape. You didn't have to go to the record store. You just got a dub from your homeboy and you just made one. It's the same thing happening now. They just call it downloads and shares. Like it's the same thing. The streets run this situation. But what happened was, this is something for you. I don't know if you know this, brother, but I'm going to give you a little backdrop to why your scenario for your generation is the way it is. So you have this era from the 80s of just fun rap. And then you had a brother that came in named Rakim that changed the whole thing. Rakim brought that knowledge of self to the table, right? And then from him, you get the KRS-Ones. And then you had an era up into the late 80s, early 90s where you had Brand Nubian, Tribe Called Quest, Jungle Brothers, Poor Righteous Teachers. On the West Coast, Def Jef. You had this whole wave of people that was talking about knowledge of self, going to college, getting educated, doing the right thing, so to speak. But remember, at this time, the underline or the undertone or the underbelly of hip hop still had its artists that was just like on the negative end, right? Like the NWA early stuff was negative. A lot of the West Coast stuff was just negative because it was a gang bang culture, and that's what they rapped about. But on the East Coast, it was a little different. You had 5%ers. You had people that had a little bit of knowledge of self over there, so their music reflected that. So around 91, 92, you have Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg hit with Deep Cover. After that, it was All She Wrote. Snoop Dogg and them came out with The Chronic. Everybody wanted to smoke weed, be gangbangers. That sent the whole rap industry into a whole different trajectory that it never recovered from. So now you start seeing less conscious artists get signed. You don't hear them no more. Now you do me a favor. Name one. Do you know who X-Clan is?
I do. I was just gonna say about that. I actually just recently learned about X-Clan.
Now, let me ask you this question: who do you know a group today that's close, remotely close to an X-Clan's music?
None.
There is none, right?
None.
And this is why. See, you got to go back further. When the civil rights movement was happening back in the 60s, they had a soundtrack. They had James Brown. They had Marvin Gaye. They had different artists. Nina Simone. They had people who made music that was the soundtrack to that movement. And that movement drove the government crazy. And they knew they had to break up that movement and they had to destroy it from ever coming back. So when they saw it coming back again in the late 80s with Public Enemy talking about Elvis on a stamp and all this stuff, and he would fight the power and all these things, they saw it coming back because people were going to school, educating themselves. It was cool to be somewhat of a nerd to a degree. It was cool to do something different. It was cool to actually know who you are and know who Marcus Garvey and Malcolm X is. Everybody was rocking X hats and cross colors. Like people was okay with that. You had a different world on TV. The TV show, you know what I'm talking about? The TV show. You had the Cosby Show on TV. You had all these things that today y'all don't have. Y'all don't have a different world. Y'all don't have in the Cosby Show. The closest thing to Cosby Show right now is Blackish. That's the closest thing you guys have to it. And I think they're trying to make that spinoff episode with the daughter somewhat like a different world, but it's not necessarily working out that well. But more to the story is that stuff came in and it poisoned the idea. to where when Dr. Dre came out, even the nerd and the dudes that was going to school became gangbangers. They became wannabe thugs and smoking weed all day and drinking 40 ounces. And then fast forwarding to you guys' generation, you guys are carrying out the same thing, but with less potency. Because at least back then, the people who were talking that stuff actually lived those lives every day, right? We're talking about people who are basically mimicking things they've heard and seen on movies. Because that stuff pretty much is non-existent today, how I've seen it come up. So at the same time, what I'm saying is that the backdrop to this music, to Lil Yachty, that to a degree have such a disrespect for music that came before them, that can get on a platform and disrespect a Pete Rock, that can disrespect a Bone Thugs and Harmony. It's just a level of disrespect that's just through the roof that I don't understand, because at least we have respect for our elders that came before us. That's where hip hop started, from sampling music that came before us. We have respect for. We grew up on Saturday mornings cleaning the house to our mothers banging this music. That's how we knew what it was to go sample. But now they don't like Pete Rocks. They don't like the old school heads. So the backdrop to this story, man, I'm gonna close it with this. The backdrop to this story is this was a purposeful plot to poison the music. And they did a damn good job at it, because what they did was they made a generation of kids who don't want to know what came before them and don't respect anything in their own time frame. And that's a dangerous situation, because you don't know where you're going. And you don't even know where this music came from. If an old head comes up and talks to the majority of them, they don't want to hear what he has to say. Oh, yeah, that's old music. I don't want to hear that. You know what I mean? Like, that music was the foundation to what you do, to what you're listening to. That they didn't have a chance. And how it's happening today with a platform that you guys have, like, to be on this thing right here, to talk to somebody live, to make a video in a day and put it up on YouTube and get all these hits and can make a website. It's impossible for the music industry to control that. That's being done because people are falling in line and they've been conditioned to believe this is the only way to make music, which is controlling a young population of kids and leading them in the wrong direction by the millions in the mass.
Now, King, Deshaun, before you start, let's honor the elder in the building, Elder Ajia. If I'm wrong, please correct me. It's Agyei. All right. His last name on here is Tyehimba. All right. So he made the comment there. I'm going to read his statement. Also, family, he does a powerful, powerful African studies session. You definitely want to follow him on Facebook and whatever other social media platforms he has. All right. Again, the elder says, we are talking about the music industry. The white corporate machine rewards and encourages certain things and energy. Hip hop was deliberately co-opted by government intelligence agencies after the 80s, when it represented Black nationalist ideas. Similarly, funk music and soul was compromised by disco. We must develop our own institutions, period. Also, mainstream radio must be forced to, at least play a balanced selection of music. Go ahead, King Deshaun, dive in on that, as well as your thought before, I dove in with what the elders say. Finish your thought and then tackle that.
So I would say this. I think, just touching base off your comment, I would just say that when we begin as young people to realize how powerful we are and how everything influences us, and how just one leader or just a couple leaders, a couple people that stands up for this generation, that takes the stand and say that I will put my generation on my shoulders. When we begin to just produce one or two, it's going to produce way more, right? And then we're going to start producing people with different talents. See, our generation is in tremendous talent. We didn't like he said, we came out with so many things, and we have so many brilliant ideas. It's just that our minds are so institutionalized, so messed up right now. We don't realize who we are. We don't realize what we capable of. So when I feel that when I think that we know what we are capable of, what we are knowledgeable of, and the plan that's going on within today's society, we will realize that we could destroy this. We could destroy this. We really can. But until we do that, until my generation says no to the nonsense music, says no to the self hate that they're putting that we're putting on ourselves, we will never change. And that's why, again, I feel like it's not up to you guys. It's up to people like me, people like young leaders like myself that is putting a hand out for my peers. Because I don't know if you know, but putting a hand out just for one person, it tremendously helps. It helps them. It helps people realize that I'm here for you, whatever you go through. So it could spark that change, and that's my whole passion in life, is to spark that change. It's to spark that whole change that we will get if we all come together and realize what is going on in today's society and how is it affecting us, how is it poisoning our brains. So,
well said. And I have to say this to you too, because I know you're still growing, young king. It definitely is our responsibility, and that's, I have to make a correction there, because traditionally the elders are the ones that trained you. All right, the younger generation. And the reason why you're so blessed, because you have a pool of elders around you that's able to put the traditions in you. You know what I'm saying? To teach you these things, right? So without us, you would know. Even a lot of the information that's being taught, like, it's from like Dr. Ben, all right, Dr. John Henry Clark, you know, Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, Dr. Amos Wilson, all of them are elders. And a lot of us today are still gleaning from the teachings of the Honorable Minister Elijah Muhammad, you know, El Haj Malik El Shabazz, Stokely Carmichael, Khalid Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon them all. It's so much literature that a lot of us glean from today is because of our elders. You see what I'm saying? Even myself, those who are even my peers, they still regurgitate what an elder said from their literature. You understand? So this is the reason why we're going backwards. It's because now you have the younger generation, and we have a true elder on here tonight. Baba that I mentioned earlier, his name. All right. Now he's a true elder. Why? Because he's not just an elder by age, he's an elder mentally. So he's also very familiar with our African traditions. So he's able to teach young men like myself, you know, and I'm able to pass that on, and it's a domino effect of knowledge now. So see, what happening is, it's a domino effect of ignorance being passed down. And that's what's happening, because great grandma don't know, great granddaddy don't know. So it goes on, trickles down. And this is the reason why today, a lot of us, we speak English, and some of us don't even know an African language at all. Some of us can't say Asante Sana, Swahili, thank you very much. Karibu, you know what I'm saying? Responding, you're welcome. Or even if it's Twi. You understand? Why don't we know these things? So that movie Roots, it teaches us a lot. It's a lot there in Roots. Because that's the reason why a lot of us don't know, because we weren't taught. You understand what I'm saying? So you even said, young king, and trust me, I'm not rebuking you or anything like that, so you're not in trouble, okay? Even you said you know, that Malcolm X influenced you. You read his book. He's our ancestor. You see what I mean? So you still learn from an ancestor. You still learn from somebody who is an elder. You understand what I'm saying? So this is the reason why it's important. Like my son, I had to reteach my son because I raised my son, unfortunately, outside of our traditions, unbeknownst to me, because I was born into a colonized situation. And so unfortunately, I was brainwashed as well and didn't even know it. Didn't even pay attention to, I don't speak my language. I don't dress. I don't think like my people. I don't really talk like my people. I truly don't conduct myself like my people, because we must understand Ebonics and all this other foolishness is, people can say whatever they want to say. You know what I'm saying? That's not a true African tradition. Okay. Now, like my brother, like brother Jashir, tell us some traditions in Ifa.
Traditions in general?
There you go. Just give us a couple so, you know, the people can hear, like, you know, you can tell us some traditions. Now, those things in the Yoruba and Ifa, now that's what you call African tradition. And voodoo.
Yeah.
So if you will tell us some things, man, kick that knowledge to us, bro.
Before I go there, I wanted to say what you said to the young man. It is our fault, bro. It is our job. It is our generation's job. And it was the generation before us job to teach us that they dropped the ball. Instead of teaching us, they pointed fingers at us and called us out. And they didn't help us. They shunned us and talked about us. But nobody came in. I'm not gonna say nobody, but very few people came in that tried to help us. And that's what needs to change. That is a part of the tradition of Ifa, that you have to get okay and blessings from elders before you do majority of the things you want to do. Like, we praise ancestors. Why? Because they came before us, their wisdom, their spirits, and trust me, everybody's not an ancestor. Just because you died don't make you an ancestor. But their wisdom, their spirit, their knowledge, their triumphs that they conquered in life, you learn from them. You watch them. Again, like brother said earlier about watching nature. Watching an ancestor is like watching nature. If you pay attention to what they do, you know what pitfalls not to get into. And that's basically what Ifa's teaching is. A level to this teaching. There's God. There's your parents. This is the pecking order. Your parents. There's Irumele. And then there's Orishas. And then there's Egungun. The moral to the story is there's order. The thing that's lacking today in this colonial world is order. The only order that's listened to is what the white man say did. So within Ifa, you have to be willing to be obedient to what the order is and pay attention to what that order is and acknowledge that order and give that order the respect that it deserves. And this society is a product of exactly the opposite. Exactly the opposite. There's so many different traditions in Ifa, and I want to make sure that I'm speaking things that are relevant to the topic or the subject matter. So I don't want to necessarily go into just all over the place about traditions of Ifa, but I really would like to prefer to keep it in subject matter. So if there's something that you want me to definitely touch on outside of what I just said, I will. But it's so much stuff to mention that I don't want to go all over the place.
So do you believe that within our generation, within our generation, it's up to the the foundation we get it from the elders. You know, that's the start. But what happens now in our generation is we tend to listen to people, which is totally it's weird. We tend to listen to people that are the same age, and we don't listen to the elders, right? I don't know why that happens. We go to someone our age. So with the theory that I came up with is, if that's the case, I'm going to get all the teaching, I'm going to get all the learning, and I'm going to pour it into my peers. You still go back to your elders though, right? You do. You still go back to who you are, your ancestors. But ultimately, my generation, again, we're lost. We don't realize how powerful our ancestors are. We don't realize how powerful we are. So until we realize how powerful they are, we'll never uplift. We'll never become, you know. But it's up to the young leaders. It's up to the young leaders that's in this generation now to show our peers, like, hey, you need, like, we can do this. You know, there's people that before us did this. So yeah.
Wonderful.
You had a question. What was the question?
Oh, I didn't have.
Oh, you didn't have. Okay. I heard you say a question, but I believe that, first of all, one thing about, he asked me to speak about tradition. One thing in the tradition of Ifa that I think would be relevant in this topic and in this, turn this thing around, is kind of both sides though, not just the youngsters, but the elders too. It's one thing that's pretty big in Ifa is humility. Like, people have to be humble. And youngsters need to humble themselves and stop acting as if they know more than people that came before them, because you don't. And at the same time, the elders need to humble themselves to understand that you can't do like the, I forgot who that lady was, Tupac used to always talk about. She was a politician that always shunned the rap music of that day. And I'm not saying that she was wrong, but it was the way she did it that was wrong. Like, you don't publicly chastise your people on an open forum. No, not Max, it's another lady. I forgot who she was. You don't publicly chastise your people on an open forum for everyone to see. That's just not how you're supposed to do it. If I got a problem with you, I'm not going to chastise you here. You know what I mean? I'm going to call you to the side, like, look, bro, I'm going to DM you in your messenger that can't nobody see but me and you, and let you know what it is. The world ain't supposed to see that. That's called being humble enough to say, look, it's not about my ego and what I think I know. It's about knowing what I know and making sure that you can receive the message. As long as you're humble enough to come get it and eat from my plate of the information that I have, it's not about me dancing and beating my chest because I know more than you. Settle down, both parties get humble, come to the table, and we will make something happen when we leave this table. But if I come here, you're here, you're not going to hear me. If I come here and you're here, I'm not going to hear you. You understand what I'm saying? We have to level the playing field with humility and come to the table, because this whole scenario that we have as a people, not just your generation, my generation, generation in between you, all have the same problem. It's not just y'all. I don't want it to seem like everybody's picking on your generation. That's not the case. But trust me, my generation has some issues, bro. Trust me. So it's not just y'all. It's a matter of, if we want to really fix the situation, humility has to enter the room and saying that we got this wrong. We got to start this all over from scratch. And we got to let things that's outside of colonialisms lead the way, because that obviously don't work.
That's right, man. I totally agree with that. And that's one thing I love about this panel, is because with us working together, we're able to understand each other. And that's what I believe that we need to do. We need to get a better understanding of the younger generation as well. The younger generation getting a better understanding of us. Because a lot of times one may say, oh, that's old fashioned. But that's what a tradition is. It's old fashioned. You know? And like what I'm wearing right now is modern day El Kebalan attire. Now, with my bloodline, being a part of the Akan, coming, you know, from the Asante people, we actually would have been wearing kente cloth. You see what I'm saying? That's actually our traditional garment. You know what I'm saying? And it's been around for centuries. You understand? So it may be modern, but it still has an African signature, just like the hat you're wearing. Now that's kente. You know what I'm saying? That's kente. You know what I mean? But I remember you said that some of the young people, they teased you about it, right? So tell us about that experience, and you know, tell us how you feel about that.
So a lot of people would say, like, what are you wearing? Why you have that on? And the old me would have been saying, what do you mean why I have this on? You know, like, you know, being real defensive. But the new me would say, it's just that we're not taught that. We're not taught that this is culture. We're not taught that we're not taught that aspect in life. And school play a huge role in it. Being at home from parents not teaching us, it plays a huge role in it. And just self-learning plays a role in it. Because at the end of the day, in order for you to know what this is, in order for you to know why am I wearing this, you need to know it goes back to who you are. It goes back to why, it goes back to it goes back to who you are, it goes back to your culture. See, culture plays a role in everything. So when people ask, why do you have that on? I tell them, but I don't be harsh. I say, I have this on because it's culture. And then people was like, what? And then I say, that goes back to us. That goes back to us knowing who we are. That goes back to us knowing that our history is beyond America. Our history goes back further, way further. And it's up to us to learn that. Because they're not going to teach us in the schools. I can tell you that right now. They're not going to teach you in the school. And if you're not getting taught it at home, then I feel that it should be something in you to just want to grind and go get your history, you know? Go learn who you are as a person. Because the society that we are in today, it is a must that we know who we are. Because if you don't, you will still be institutionalized to what's going on. You will still be broken. You know, you wouldn't be fixed. And I feel that literally, if you look back on it, we're just broken right now. But it's up to us to fix it. It's up to us to fix it. And yeah.
Question for you, brother. Have you always been this way, or was it like an event that changed your mind and trajectory and sent you on a path of this?
It has so I used to be real. So I'm a suburban kid, and literally everywhere that we lived, it was around a lot of white people. My mom actually, she's a police officer. So, and I just been around. I had been around a lot of white people because mom had been a police officer since she was since 05 or 06. And I will always like, you know, be around my people. I never be around like my people. And my mom is the type of person, she loves her history. She loves history. She loves who she is. And she wanted to teach me my history. She wanted to teach me my rich heritage. And at times I just be like, okay. And I was about 13, 12, you know, younger. And I didn't want to know who I was. I didn't want to. But I felt that because of me not being around my people, because me not knowing what my rich heritage is, it played a real effect. But after I just seen what society has put on us as Black people, it just made me want to learn my history. It made me want to stand up for who I am, you know, because we fight every day, every single day because of our skin color, and we fight. And let it top along that, us being young, me being a young Black male and young Black male, we fight hard, and it's like if you don't know who you are, it'll break you. It'll send you into some type of weird, little crazy little place that you don't want to be in. You don't want to be in that mindset. You want to have the mindset of grind. You want to have the mindset of knowing who you are. So we need to wake up. We need to know our worth. We need to know that we don't fit into none of these stereotypes. These stereotypes are not real. These barriers are not real. We could get over any barrier, but it's just up to us. You know, it's up to us.
That's right. Hey, Brother Jashir, I would like for you, if you would, be so kind. Family, we thank everybody for tuning in. Brother Jashir, I definitely like to close it out with your wisdom. And thereafter, we'll close out for the evening.
On the closeout end, Tip, you ever heard of something called Isheshe, bro?
Pardon me?
You ever heard of something called Isheshe?
No, I haven't. I haven't heard of that either.
On the closeout, Isheshe is a phrase we use in Ifa called Isheshe. It's traditionalism, which has been lost. Traditionalisms. And I'm gonna read a little bit of a prayer from Ifa called just want to kind of sum it up. Have you heard of Ifa, bro?
No, sir.
No? Okay. I would explain it, but we're closing out. But if you ever want to know, you can always get my contact and I'll explain it to you. Get my contact from him anyway, so if you ever want to ask me any questions, you always can. You got somebody in California you can talk to. All right. There's a prayer in Ifa called Ogunda Owarren. Ogunda Owarren. Ogunda is the Odu on the right. Owarren is the Odu on the left. And it goes like this. It says, the ocean is filled to the brim. The lagoon is filled to capacity. Alasan's going to Asan. Alasan's going to Asan, the Awo at the top of the rock. The elders thought over the matter and realized that it was no longer favorable. This is going to sound a little bit confusing. They used their mustaches to cover their faces and their beards to firmly cover their chests. These were the declarations of Ifa to Isheshe, traditionalisms, the heads of Ebi Oroko Inileife. Now, what is one's Isheshe? Now, here's where it breaks down the pecking order of Isheshe, which again, remember, is traditionalism. Oludumare is one's Isheshe. Now, in Ifa, Oludumare is God. It is Isheshe we ought to appease before appeasing any Orisha. One's Ori is one's Isheshe. Ori is your head, your brain. That's basically like your computer brain that remembers everything that you need to go download and keep and store. Your Ori is that. It is Ori we must appease before appeasing any Orisha. One's mother is one's Isheshe. One's father is one's Isheshe. It even goes to the male and female genital organ is one's Isheshe. The thing is that when you look at these spiritual practices that are thousands of years old, that well predate the Bible, we've lost that Isheshe. And what this verse is actually talking about is actually, I don't want to offend anyone, but it's actually talking about how Islam invaded the West and Nigeria, and the elders were saying it's no longer working. If something is not working, that means you've abandoned what you once did before. And the elders had the wisdom to see this is no longer working. We need to change this around. And we need to get back to praising Olodumare. We need to get back to praising our own Ori. We need to get back to praising our mothers and our fathers. And notice that it says, before praising any Orisha. Even within Ifa ranks, people praise Orisha before they praise themselves, before they praise their own Ori. Sometimes even before they praise Olodumare. The thing is, and the moral to the story is, traditionalisms have to come back into play. First and foremost, we must re-educate on what traditionalisms are, because they're so far in the horizon that we've lost sight of what that even looks like, right? Again, especially with the infections of colonialisms, other religions, food, water, all these things that play a part in vaccinations, everything that plays a part in separating us from traditionalisms, that we've pretty much been disconnected since we landed in this country. And for those who were already here in this country, because we didn't just land in this country, we were already here too. We've been disconnected from that, disconnected from nature. And that's what this prayer is talking about. We must return back to those traditionalisms. And young people have to, again, become humble to learning that. And elders need to learn that more than they think they do. Learn that traditionalism on both ends and meet in the middle. And I think we'll begin to see a change. I hope to see it in my lifetime. I'm not that optimistic of seeing that happen, but I do want to be a part of the team that's spreading that word and moving in that direction. That's my life mission. That's why I make the music I make. That's why I do what I do. That's why I teach CA Ticketmasters. That's why I do everything I do in that direction, because I want to see traditionalisms come back into play. And that is where I see change coming. The minute we let go of all these so-called benefits of the contemporary time and return back to traditionalisms, we'll be fine. We will make the change on this planet that we want to see happen. It can even possibly happen in your generation, in your lifetime. But we need to start to plant that seed. There's no other way than the prayer, like the prayer said. Put God first. Put your parents first. Without your parents, there is no you. Without God, there is no parents. Put the female and male energies that create life first. Not disrespect each other. Not women disrespect men and men disrespecting women. It's total chaos. All these things I named, everything is in opposite direction. And until we turn that around and bring it back to that Isheshe as our name, the traditionalisms, we will have what we have. And I just pray, and my prayer is all the time is I want to see this change. That's why I put this on my back to make the pulpit and other music projects, because I know music is the most infectious way to reach people.
Definitely.
Definitely.
Definitely. So family, we thank you so much for tuning in again to the King's Treasure Chest. I like to extend the invitation to all of my brothers that's out there, right? Those of you who are teenagers, even up to my age, I'm 42 years old or even older. All right, we would love to have you on this platform. Okay, this is where we share nuggets about relationships and we drop jewels about the social ills that's plaguing our community. We share remedies that can help solve our issues as well. So hopefully on tonight, you didn't just hear us talking about the problem. Hopefully you heard some solutions. We utilize, of course, as you see, the program called Zoom. For those who are not familiar with Zoom, Zoom is a free program for you as a user on this platform. Okay, if you are a host, you want to set it up to be a host, it is a fee, a monthly fee, all right, for you to utilize it. However, if you're just trying to be on the program as a panelist, it is no charge to you. Okay, just download the program, reach out and contact me, inclusive with your telephone number. I don't just allow people to come on here without speaking to them, okay, because we got to maintain the integrity of this platform, and we'll take it from there. So again, thank you so much. The next program will be in 2 weeks. Okay, we do it every 2 weeks. All right, so bi-weekly. We do it on every Tuesday, bi-weekly. All right, at the same time, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, Facebook Live. Okay, so to all my elders out there, we thank you so much for sharing your wisdom, Queen Mother Rhonda, Baba Stevens, Baba ODJ that was on here earlier. All right, and all of our sisters and also the younger generation. We thank you so much for tuning in on this evening to the King's Treasure Chest. Peace, love, and power.